Good evening. The following is a live broadcast for the City of Kingsport Board of Mayor and Alderman. Board meetings are regularly scheduled on the first and third Tuesdays of each month at 7 p.m. In advance of the BMA meeting, a copy of the agenda is available for inspection at the Kingsport Public Library, City Hall, or online at kingsporttn.gov.
Joe, you want to say?
Do we have a trophy?
Very pleased at the progress that we've made, and we've got a lot of things we still want to do, and we'll look for the board's support in those things as we move forward and make this an even better jewel for Kingsport.
Thank you.
Oh, sure. I'm Tony Ponzi. I'm on the Greenbelt Committee as well. It probably goes without saying I haven't been there since the beginning, but moving to Kingsport, what a jewel the Greenbelt is, and what an example it's been to other communities that look to that as, man, maybe we can do something like that. And thank you for your support of it, and just really proud of it.
Thank you. We're counting on young guys like you to keep it going.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, guys. Here's the. The thing's not very big, but it weighs a lot.
Okay, Mr. City Manager.
All right, we have no appointments, so we'll move into the approval of minutes. First is a work session on October 18th, 2021, and then a business meeting on October 19th, 2021. We'd ask that you approve these minutes as submitted, please.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the two sets of minutes as announced by the city manager?
So move.
Moved by Alderman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
All right, we have no public hearings, so we'll move into the comment section on agenda items, Mayor.
Thank you. At this time during our proceedings, we allow citizens to speak on agenda items. Now, agenda, of course, is, you can get one in the hallway as you come in, but it's the items that we are actually deliberating on tonight. When you come to the podium, please state your name and address and sign the register that is provided. You're encouraged to keep your comments non-personal in nature, and they should be limited to 5 minutes. A total of 30 minutes is allocated for public comment during this part of the agenda. And let me remind you that if you wish to speak on an item of general civic interest, there is a portion toward the end of our proceedings where you may do that. Is there anyone who wishes to approach the board and speak on an agenda item? If not, I declare this part of the meeting to be adjourned and pick back up with the agenda. Mr. City Manager.
All right, your next item is to appropriate $25,907 from the Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs, Fiscal 21, Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program. This ties back to an application you all submitted on June 15th. 2021. There's no local match for this. We'll use this for several pieces of equipment that will aid the police department, including a TrueNarc handheld narcotics analyzer, which looks a lot like a cell phone. So we ask that you approve the budget ordinance, please.
Learn something every day.
Yeah.
Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the Justice Assistance Grant Fund budget by appropriating grant funds received from the U.S. Department of Justice for the year ending June 30, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Phillips. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is to appropriate $8,450 from the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs, Fiscal 21 Bulletproof Vest Partnership Funding. This is a grant that we've been successful in receiving for several years now. We submitted this application in May. We've received these dollars. It'll pay for 50% of the cost of a new vest. We ask that you approve this budget ordinance, please.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the General Project Special Revenue Fund budget by appropriating grant funds received from the U.S. Department of Justice for the year ending June 30, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Montgomery. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is amending code section 98-530 relating to impounding vehicles. Often as we go through and make adjustments to ordinances, we will find items in there that need to be updated. This is in fact the case with this item. During our review, we noticed that if an abandoned vehicle, present code was that if an abandoned vehicle was left and it was greater than 4 years old, we would be able to tow it. The reality is abandoned vehicle and age does not matter, and so we are asking that you amend this code to allow us to make this change to where if a vehicle is abandoned, the age of the vehicle will not be taken into consideration.
Thank you. I guess we consider that really irrelevant, don't we?
Yeah.
Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances, City of Kingsport, Tennessee, Section 98-530, relating to traffic and vehicles impoundment of vehicles, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second. Second by Alderman. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is a budget adjustment ordinance for the General Project Fund and General Project Special Fund Revenue Fund for fiscal '22. A few items that this will address. One, it'll provide some funding to put bike racks along the Greenbelt. In addition to that, we will be accepting a very generous donation from the Friends of the Kingsport Public Library in the amount of $25,525. And then it allows us to move some money in the amount of $132,000 from our Tennessee Highway Safety Office project into the appropriate line item for those dollars to be spent. So we'd ask that you approve this budget ordinance, please.
Thank you. And at this point, I guess I ought to make my routine explanatory note because I always make the assumption that someone's watching this on TV for the first time. Before we actually vote, the first thing that happens after the city manager puts the agenda together is each member of the board meets with the city manager one-on-one. And and if he needs other members of his staff are present, he explains things thoroughly. And then we meet together as a group at what we call a work session. We're not permitted to vote at a work session, but like this meeting, it's a public meeting. And we, again, discuss the items to make sure that we understand what it is we're voting on. And then by the time we get here, it sometimes moves fairly quickly because we're pretty familiar with the item we're going to vote on. So with that, Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the General Project Fund and General Projects Revenue Fund budgets for the year ending June 30, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Moved by Alderman Montgomery, seconded by Alderman Duncan. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next section is our second readings, and first one is a budget ordinance and agreement with TDOT for State Route 36 multimodal from Green Hills Drive to Lebanon Road. This is for the construction of a sidewalk there in the Colonial Heights portion of Fort Henry Drive, and we'd ask that you approve this on second and final reading, please.
Thank you. And I'd remind the public that when we have an ordinance on a second reading, we're required to take a roll call vote. So first, Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the General Project Fund, General Project Special Revenue Fund, and the General Project Fund budgets for the year ending June 30, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Madam Recorder, please take the vote. I'm sorry, I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Montgomery. Any discussion? Just getting ahead of myself. Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper. Aye. Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery.
Aye.
Alderman Alterman.
Aye.
Alderman Phillips.
Aye.
Mayor Schul.
Aye, it passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is a budget adjustment ordinance for the General Project Fund and General Projects Special Revenue Fund for fiscal '22. This was set up to move some money around in our payment of lieu sidewalk project, as well as to accept some money from the Border Region District Sales Tax Project. And so we'd ask that you approve this item on second and final reading, please.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the General Project Fund and General Projects Special Revenue Fund budgets for the year ending June 30, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
moved by Alderman Cooper. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Vice Mayor. Is there any discussion? If not, Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper. Aye. Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery.
Aye.
Alderman Alterman. Alderman Phillips.
Aye.
Mayor Schul.
Aye, it passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is a budget adjustment ordinance for various project funds in fiscal '22. As you will recall, last month at both the work session and the business meeting, we went into great detail on this item as it has to do with year-end money as well as the first tranche of the American Rescue Plan Act. And so, Mayor, unless there's any questions, I'd ask that you all approve this on second and final reading, please.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the various project fund budgets and for the year ending June 30, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second? Second. Second by Alderman Alderman. Any discussion?
You don't want to do your full presentation again?
I mean, we'd be happy to.
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Again, if somebody's watching it for the first time, we're talking about around $8 million here.
Yes, sir.
Of which just over $5 million came from the federal government. There are strings attached. There's a lot of rules, and we believe that we're following those rules. Then we had money that, at the end of the fiscal year, we didn't spend all the money that we budgeted for. So we call that year-end money. And then, based on the first category, getting some federal money, we were able to redirect some money that we had ordinarily spent in lieu of the federal money if we didn't have the federal money. I guess the way I'd sum it, we're not going to do his whole presentation, but the thing that I would say is that the city, I don't know, I asked the city manager a little earlier, has anybody done an estimation, and they have somewhere, of how much, what is the worth of all the city property? Everything from our school buildings to our sanitation plant, the pipes underground, you name it. I mean, the roads, it's in the billions. So we have to maintain it, and this action is a lot about maintaining what we have. So we pride ourselves on having a world-class infrastructure. We pride ourselves on having amenities like the Greenbelt or the Bays Mountain, you name it. We try to fund our police and fire protection adequately, and on and on and on. And so this, in the board's collective judgment, this money is going to places that could really use it, and we think we've done the right thing. So I've lost track of it's on the floor for a vote, isn't it?
Forgot where I was at.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper.
Aye.
Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery.
Aye.
Alderman Alterman. Alderman Phillips.
Aye.
Mayor Schul.
Aye, it passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is to enter into a materials agreement with the Edinburgh Group LLC related to the Everetts Valley development and an ordinance to appropriate the funds. This comes to you all based upon the value of this materials agreement, and we'd ask that you approve this on second reading, please.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
No, ordinance to amend the water and sewer project funds by transferring funds to the Everetts Valley Materials Agreement Projects, WA 2253 and SW 2253, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Phillips. Is there any discussion?
I'll abstain from this vote.
Yes, ma'am. Any further comment or discussion? If not, please take the vote.
Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery.
Aye.
Alderman Alterman. Alderman Phillips.
Aye.
Mayor Schul.
Aye. The vote passes on a 6-0-1, which means one abstention. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is to award shelving purchase for new archives utilizing Sourcewell purchasing agreement. This is to order the necessary shelving to move the archives from the basement of the library over here to City Hall. Again, this is one of the last items that we have as we look at filling this building up with what was originally planned. And so action you all took earlier on the agenda actually opens up the funding for this. This is very expensive shelving, nearly $170,000. There's still money left in this total project to do the demolition and necessary work to the space over at the present archives once all the material is moved out, so they can repurpose that, which you saw in a presentation by our library manager, Christine Markley, last month. So we'd ask that you approve this resolution authorizing this purchase, please.
So Chris, when the shelving's in and we move everything and so forth, it'll be a lot easier for the public to view the items.
It will be. The space will be a modernized space. It will be designed for the archives department. We're excited to not only have them over here for the things that you mentioned, but I'd also add that we'll be able to have some of the material on display, not only upstairs here in the building, but also periodically throughout the year in the lobby.
Well, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got some amazing items in the archives. Kingsport has a rich history. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase order to Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing for shelving and for the archives in the new city hall.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Moved by Alderman Montgomery. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion?
What is the time frame for actually having not only this installed, but actually bringing everything over here to have it open to the public?
Michael, I'm going to ask you that question. Right now, with a lot of the stuff that we have been ordering,
Yeah,
it has taken months. We still have probably a truckload of furniture that was ordered
And we've had some
10 weeks ago.
supply issues.
And we've had a few supply issues. What's the timeline, Michael?
So our goal is 12 to 18 weeks from approval, depending on the materials. That's where we were about 2 weeks ago when we talked to the supplier. And then after that, we'll get the moving company lined up and to do that. So we hope to do it towards the end of Q1 or very, very early Q2 of next year.
Thanks.
Okay. For the public, Mr. Michael Borders is our Assistant City Manager for Leisure Services, and the library comes under his supervision along with lots of other stuff, Parks and Rec, and so forth. Okay, let's see. Any more discussion?
This is exciting, not only it's exciting to get the archives in this building, but to open up that space in the library. I think the library already has plans for that, and they're excited to be able to move some things down there. So I think the public, it's a win-win. They get something nice here, and they also get some materials of the library that they can access. So
Absolutely.
And Alderman Cooper knows what she's talking about because she's also a member of our advisory board at the library. Any other discussion? If not, please take the vote. Oh, we don't need a vote from you, the recorder. I'm sorry. This is a voice vote. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is to accept a donation of e-readers for the library. This is a very generous donation from the United Way Greater Kingsport, donating 36 e-readers for use at the library. So we greatly appreciate this, and we ask the board to approve this resolution accepting this donation.
You're not going to ask Michael to come up again, are you?
Afraid he'll get winded.
Okay. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution accepting a donation of e-readers from the Friends of the Library, our Kingsport Public Library.
Thank you, and we would like to thank the Friends of the Library. They've been very generous.
United Way.
United Way, and also the Friends. Okay, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Duncan, is there a second?
second.
Second by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is award furniture purchase for the new fire training ground facility utilizing the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Agreement. This actually allows us to buy from a local company, which is Workspace Interiors. Again, action earlier, freed up money to be able to make this purchase. We'd ask that you approve this resolution awarding the purchase. And if you've noticed in our project updates or if you've driven by the fire training facility, it's coming along very nicely.
and co-located with Eastman's fire training facility.
Correct.
And you all work cooperatively in training and so forth with Eastman. Okay, Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase order to Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing for furniture for the new fire training ground facility.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Phillips. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Montgomery. Any discussion? Are you going to grow a beard too, Scott? Okay. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is to authorize the mayor to execute various sub-recipient agreements. Again, earlier this spring, the board mayor and alderman approved funding and the final action items for the annual action plan for the community development program. This included money for that was CARES Act money. You can see in the resolution there that the agencies receiving the funding is Children's Advocacy Center of Sullivan County, South Central Community Development Corporation, Help Our Potential Evolve or HOPE, Salvation Army of Kingsport, and Friends in Need Healthcare. So it's a great opportunity to be able to provide this funding and be happy to answer any questions. We'd ask that you approve the resolution, please.
And we appreciate the efforts of the advisory committee that helped us figure this out. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute partner agreements with various agencies and organizations which allocate community development block grant CARES funding in fiscal year 2021-2022.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Moved by Alderman Montgomery. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by the vice mayor. Any discussion?
I just want to say these are amazing causes, but I think the one that jumps out to get very, very, very excited about is the Salvation Army down there expanding to have a day center. I think that is something that is needed in Kingsport, and the Salvation Army has really stepped up here in the last year and done a lot of good things, and so I'm glad that we're able to help them out.
And they got 2 new captains, married couple, and they're pretty high energy, and looking forward to working with them.
Yeah, I think they're very excited about doing this, so
Yeah.
I think this is going to be great.
And I appreciate Jessica doing a great job of keeping up with all this. Any further comments, discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is to request to purchase a permanent easement from the Tennessee Valley Authority for a sewer lift station replacement. This is located in Cooks Valley. This is the boat ramp TVA owns and operates there, and this will allow us to move forward with obtaining that easement and then pave the way for the replacement of that lift station. So we'd ask that you approve this resolution, please.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to purchase a permanent easement from the Tennessee Valley Authority in order to replace a sewer lift station, authorizing the mayor to execute the easement agreement and all other documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of the easement agreement.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Moved by Alderman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Duncan. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is to enter into a contract to purchase of software from Civics Plus pursuant to the U.S. General Services Administration Cooperative Purchasing Program. Of course, last night you heard a very detailed presentation by Michael Borders on this subject. Earlier in the calendar year, during our strategic planning session, one of the things that you all asked us to do was to look at software and the ease of use of that software for a variety of things. That's so far given us Connect Kingsport, which is kind of an upgrade from what we presently had. We, for many years, really since the Aquatic Center opened in 2013, we utilized software called eTrack. While it did the job in some aspects, the ease of use was one that was always called into question. And so we're very pleased to be able to have this on board. And again, action that you all took earlier tonight allowed for the funding to be opened up for this. As Michael discussed, this is kind of a multi-phase plan. First is to enter into the contract with the software. The second piece of that is to acquire some hardware, begin the conversion, do some testing, and then ultimately go live with that. But, the one thing I kept asking Michael throughout the entire process is how easy is it to use? And he demonstrated that last night. And of course, having the ability to log on with your Google account, Facebook account, those things were very critical. Those are things we see as we log on to other sites. And so this will be a huge improvement for our leisure services group. And look forward to when we are able to get this live. At that point, we'll have a lot of press out on it. So again, this is first step. And we'd ask that you approve this resolution authorizing this purchase, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Civic Plus for the purchase of software for the Kingsport Leisure Services Department.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
The move by the vice mayor, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Phillips. Again, we had a good briefing on this last night at our work session. Any discussion?
I'm
Yes,
very
ma'am.
excited for this. I said I was talking to Michael the other day because we went to the carousel and the token machine was out and there was an issue with, running credit cards because the token machine was out. So things like this will help the average citizen just as they try to maneuver and buy things in the city.
Yeah, I think it's a great comment because the whole aim, I guess, and Michael would probably say, is that to make this user-friendly for our citizens. So, any other discussion?
And on that note about the tokens, I was impressed because I texted Michael and in 15 minutes, they'd come up with a solution of how to bypass bypass the token machine and buy tokens in the gift shop. So it was very quick fix, but like I said, I appreciate your getting on that really quickly.
Yeah.
And
Well, essentially, that's a business operation. Running the aquatic center is a business operation. And again, we want to make these things as user-friendly as possible, and I appreciate the work of the staff on this. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
We have no items on the consent agenda. We'll move into communications. The first one you'll find in the back of your agenda. This is just a materials agreement that I have authorized per your all's approval. And we were talking earlier today as we're kind of moving forward with preparing for the state of the city. When you look at the subdivisions that we have planned and the houses that are in construction or in some phase of development, we're looking at a little over 2,200 of those at this present time. So it's amazing. It doesn't mean 2,200 homes are under construction right now, but they are in a various phase of moving down that path. So I think we've had 120 new single-family homes, at least a permit for construction pulled since April. So very pleased with this.
And I see our public affairs officer back there. She put out an announcement today on that.
That's right.
And didn't you have a second announcement today that you put out, Adrienne? Was there another public announcement other than that one today?
Yep, we're going to get to it right here.
Okay, go ahead.
So just in communications, a few things I want to mention again. Congratulations to, I know you're taking my material here.
No, you go ahead.
Again, congratulations to the Greenbelt team. It truly is a team. Multiple folks work on that, from the grants being submitted through our MPO office, leisure services groups such as Parks and Rec, overseeing that. Tremendous award, great recognition, definitely one of the crown jewels for us. Again, earlier tonight in the budget ordinance that you all approved on second reading, you freed up money for paving that will be used on the Greenbelt, as well as some money to do some various landscaping along the Greenbelt. So we greatly appreciate that and the continued reinvestment within that. Kind of staying within leisure services, greatly appreciate the work that was done by the staff. Pickleball is the latest craze, right?
That's correct. It's
And
important.
so we are moving forward with a second phase, which will bring 2 additional courts to VO Dobbins. And so we're pleased with that. The bid also allowed for some fence work to be done with those existing courts. And so we continue to have this in front of us. We know we have a lot of folks who enjoy playing, a lot of folks from the region who like coming over here and utilizing our courts, so we're glad to have them. So the mayor talked about some additional press releases today, and I will hit on one of those for certain. And that was a major announcement this morning at the Economic Development Board with a decision that was made at the recommendation of a committee that this board helped put together for the residential development at Brickyard Park. I think this is probably a project that we have been talking about in some way, shape, form, or fashion for probably about the last 4 years. It's kind of gone through many different variations over the years, but really since you all sat down, again, going back to that strategic planning session back in February where we talked about what we desired to see here, we put a request for proposals out. John Rose, our Economic Development Director, stated today when he made that presentation to the Economic Development Board, probably 300 or 400 mailings, either email, regular mail, went out to folks all over the country trying to get interest in this project. The committee went through a lot of material, asked a lot of really difficult questions, and ultimately settled on a group called Eden's Land. They are out of Raleigh, North Carolina, but they're looking to have a greater presence here. But they also have roots back in this area tied back to Gate City, and so they are excited about coming home. This development, upon completion, will be over 300 units, a tremendous amount of amenities that will come with that. And so we're very excited with today's announcement that now moves us into the second phase of the negotiations and in terms of what they'll be looking for, what the price of the land will ultimately come back at. But it's an exciting time for the city. It's definitely an exciting time for downtown. We talk a lot about a lot of the things we do, a lot of the events we try to pull off are all geared towards putting feet on the street, bringing people to our downtown. I can't even think of anything better than to have a brand-new residential development located adjacent to Main Street.
With a public green space.
Yes, there'll be a large green space. That's been kind of the talk from day one, having a large area over there for festivals, concerts, other events, just passive park. So we'll be eager to begin working with them on the different things associated with that. Of course, you've got the Scott Adams Skate Park that's under construction right now. You've got funding in your bond issue for this year to build the pump track on that location. And of course, Cement Hill is kind of that next step and the exciting things that we'll be doing with that. Other big announcement that went out, probably just went out a few days ago, was the announcement for the Pedestrian Bridge, another item that we've talked about a lot. The Pedestrian Bridge will connect Brickyard Park to downtown. Really special thanks to our MPO office. They submitted a grant, I guess probably 2 years ago. We were denied. We resubmitted. We received a little over $1.8 million to go towards this project. That represents the largest enhancement grant or alternative transportation grant that we've ever received. And so a lot of work by a lot of people to make sure the right folks in Nashville saw that. We can't thank you guys enough for the work that you did to help make that happen. It'll take some time for this bridge to be built. It's just the way it works with these grants, but we will begin actively working towards that and hope to have that part of the skyline for downtown and part of what a major connection to this space, to this park space and everything else. So again, really just an exciting day to get to this point. And I know you all have been very, very supportive. Past boards have been very supportive of this project, and so we're excited to see what it will do. So, Mayor?
Okay. We're looking forward to productive negotiation on this.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to start with Alderman Paul Montgomery. Paul?
Okay, thank you, Mayor. For the past several months, a consulting group, Kimberly Horn, has been in the area conducting surveys along the East Center Street corridor, which extends from Sullivan Street to Fort Henry Drive. They've been talking to businesses, and they had set up a tent at the farmers market in July. They talked to citizens, and now they're back. So next week, a week from tonight, Tuesday, November the 9th, at 5 o'clock at the Renaissance Center, first floor atrium. They are bringing back the possibilities, what could be possible along that corridor. So I encourage you and others, and all of us, to come out and see what are the possibilities for that corridor area. And that is it, sir.
That's a great announcement, too, and we've had similar meetings in the past dealing with Highway 126 and all that, so I encourage the public to come out and comment. That's a good comment, thank you. James?
Not much. City manager spoke on the main thing I wanted to mention, and all I'll just say is I'm very excited about that project. I think as a city, we have needs in apartments, we have needs in single-family housing, and we have needs in rental housing. And this project, according to the plans they've submitted, accomplishes addressing all three of those needs. And I think that is a big plus. I think you've seen across the country, if you pay attention, the rental housing is nobody buys houses for some reason anymore like they used to. I mean, they still buy houses, but like the 20, 30-year-olds are not buying like they used to. They love this rental business. And so, I think that's a market that an untapped market here in Kingsport. And so I think this will accomplish that. And the other thing I'm excited about that project is in the press release, it said that they are looking for a spring 2022 start date. So that is quick and that is good. And they plan to be finished in 6 years. So that is also, 350 units in 6 years, including roads and infrastructure is a massive.
Connection to downtown.
Yep, and connection to downtown. So I think that's amazing, and I'm very excited about that project. And there's another thing, but I'll let Betsy. I know Betsy's going to talk about it, so that's all I've got.
Let me ask City Manager real fast. Do we know how many people live downtown? Do we have an estimate of that?
We can look it up on the census data like we learned last night.
That's bingo. Very good, Vice
But
Mayor.
that number is growing quite a bit.
It is.
Right now, it is really growing. And, Daryl counts them all and keeps track, but.
I do, I count them each one.
Hey, downtown is becoming an attractive place to live, but, okay, great comments, James, that's it?
Yep.
Tommy?
Well, yeah, let's see. First of all, I'd like to thank Chris and Ryan for all their hard work, because we have certainly put a lot of projects on the move here. James mentioned a bunch. Paul mentioned a bunch. And I tell you what, I just feel fortunate to work with a great board that hustles all the time, because this stuff don't happen. You got to make it happen. And I just want to know how much I'm pleased and proud to serve with them.
That's great. We're putting that $8 million to good use.
That's right.
Is that it, Tom?
That's it.
No, T.O., you got to mention DB this week, playing Maryville.
Well, that's the reason I'm not mentioning myself. I saw him. I watched Spivey, King and Spivey was all translated up, and they were along the airways, and I started watching it, and there's one play that quarterback went back and he was chased, and finally he got loose. He just threw a Hail Mary pass up, and they caught it and scored. I mean, it's like our defensive backs forgot that they were defensive backs, I think. But it's really something else. I mean, watch a DB play, you never know what you're getting from one game to the next.
Well, the game's going to be decided on the field, so Maryville's just high schoolers too.
Yep.
So, plus, we got a great basketball team coming on too.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to start.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Tommy. Daryl?
Good.
I appreciate the kind words there, Tommy, too. So just a few brief items here. Shop and Hop is this Thursday, so invite everybody to come out and come downtown and do that. Actually, almost every weekend between now and Christmas, there's something going on, so you might have to check different websites on how you get your news or paper or social media, but urge everybody to come out and buy local. Included in that is, on December the 4th is Jingle and Mingle, and there'll be food trucks, Santa's Workshop, and that's the night of the parade too. So be sure to come out for that. This Saturday is Lamplight's Fall Talent Show. Come out and enjoy some of the area's local talent. I think at the 7 o'clock you can visit their website for that. And then finally, our sympathies goes out to Pat Breeding and his family with his loss of his wife Bonnie. Anybody knew Bonnie knew she was just a sweet, gentle soul. So let's all remember Pat and his kids and his family in our prayers. So that's it.
Yeah. You know, a great family. Betsy?
Well, it's 2 days after Halloween, so I'm already thinking Christmas. And thank you, James, for mentioning.
And we're not going to decide what day Christmas falls on.
No. But James had an idea and talked to DKA about it, and then I kind of had the same idea a couple weeks later, and so James and I have been meeting with several city staff and some people from the chamber to light. It's going to call Christmas in the Park, and we're going to this year concentrate on Glen Bruce Park, lighting up the gazebo, lighting up and having 26 trees donated by Home Depot, and each alderman has taken a tree, and some city departments and some chamber departments have taken trees to decorate. So this year is going to be a gift to Kingsport from city staff and city BMA and the chamber to decorate and light up Glen Bruce Park and the gazebo. The trees will be delivered sometime around the 22nd of November. No, the 19th of November, and the city staff is going to stake them and put them out, and so we'll be decorating the trees from the 22nd to December the 3rd, and they're going to be on timer so that the floodlights of the library will go off, and the trees will come on, and then the trees will go off about midnight, and the floodlights will come back on. So there's been a lot of coordination with city staff and a lot of work with city staff already trying to make this happen. And on the 17th, I don't think Michael, you left the meeting too early because James and I continued to plan things. On the 17th, we're going to have Christmas caroling there that's the weekend before Christmas caroling.
Is that city staff too?
Yeah, I think Michael is going to lead it with, no, we have.
Trombone.
Yeah. But we have,
Tuba, sorry.
Lamplight Theater's going to bring some Christmas carolers down and just walk around the park. It's going to be just a real impromptu Christmas caroling with the lights. We're going to try to get hot chocolate and a coffee truck down there to serve hot chocolate and coffee. And so it's just going to be a time for people to gather around and look at the trees. So be looking, BMA members, for information about the lights, about the number of lights you need on the trees, all that. We're going to try to get out in the next day or two. So be thinking about how you're going to decorate your tree. We be as creative as possible. But I think this gives us an opportunity. We're going to call it a Christmas at the Park, and we can expand it if it goes over big this year to do the Centennial Park and do some other parks. So our goal is to make this a yearly tradition and expand on it every year. So if you're not decorating a tree this year, think about when all the decoration goes on sale after Christmas to get a bunch of decoration to decorate a tree for next year. But that's it. It is.
I guess I'll start my Christmas shopping.
Yep.
Okay, is that it, Betsy?
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Ms. Vice Mayor?
I'm going to back up to Halloween, even though you're on Christmas. But for all the business owners downtown, I think everyone ran out of candy. So I think DKA had sponsored an event for Trick or Treat on Saturday, and even with the rain, had well over 1,000 people. I think James attended.
I was there. I couldn't even get in to see Angie because their line to get into Lamplight was so long.
They didn't run out of candy. I think Lamplight kept going back and getting candy to make sure.
Well, I think Food City about ran out because all the business owners were going back. I think we went back twice.
Yeah.
And restocked up.
Yeah, because I tried to get candy
You're
on Halloween.
helping
It was all
Landry
gone.
with their candy.
I was. Well, I think to Colette's point, I don't know what the expectations were because of the weather, because it was raining and it was cold, but it was maybe the most people I've ever seen downtown. It was crazy.
I agree. I mean, I was down there too, and there was a lot of folks out, and it was a nasty day.
And they had dogs decorated, I mean, you're dressed up, and little kids.
It was a great
and-
day, so.
And everyone at my office that was giving out candy said it was the happiest day, that everybody, even with the lines, with the cold, with the rain, everybody was delighted to be there.
Is that the first time that we've done downtown or decade?
I think Robin said it was the first time
Okay,
they'd
so
done
that's,
it.
so now we know what to expect, for the next.
I don't know if you know what to expect or not, if it'd been a nice day.
It was a great success, and everyone had a wonderful time. I know every candy dish in our entire office was rated, trying to continue to hand out. I think a lot of people said they were going to refrigerators and getting out granola bars and things, or whatever they could find, and it said Food City was running out of candy because everybody's running down there real quick to get. So I think it was a great success, and everybody that went had a really good time, even of the weather. And I also want to congratulate our band. I think no one mentioned that the Dobbins Bennett Band was, AAA champions and best in, was it?
Yeah, that was in Western
Well, that's just-
Carolina,
but
and then this past
ETSU, yeah.
week, it was finished, I think, second
Overall, but first in the category. Yeah, first in their class, so they had a wonderful showing. And I think that's, and then I'm excited about Christmas, even though I'm not sure I'm going to be in town those decorating days, but that will be really exciting to have all the Christmas lights, and that's all I have. Don't say anything about the goats, even though they're really, really cute.
Seen the goats Saturday.
Goats are still out there.
We could put little wreaths around the goats.
Bells on, they can, and bring them to the park.
You lost control, Mayor.
They're just very enthusiastic members. That's okay. You want to ride? Go. Okay, he's distracted me. I've got to make a comment about something that we were going to consider tonight, but I pulled off the agenda, and I'm doing this because every week I put out an update, a mayor's update, and it's an email that goes to a lot of people. And if you want to be on my list, just call City Hall and ask to be put on the list. But I indicated that we were going to vote on changing our election date to an even year. Now, here's the reason I pulled it from the agenda, is that the state legislature, had a special session, and they considered measures regarding COVID and all kinds of things. And one of the items they passed was changing school board, we called our Board of Education, school board elections to a partisan election. That would mean parties or political parties. Personally, I oppose that, but I'm not in the legislature. Therefore, the board members wish to assess if that had any impact on the way we're doing municipal elections, and if so, what? I mean, it hasn't been signed by the governor. Theoretically, the governor, or in actuality, the governor could veto it. He could either sign it or veto it. But so we're waiting to see what happens. We've got till November to make a decision about this. I'm not going to prolong it that long. But, in a council manager form of government, the city manager, as part of his duties, he prepares this agenda, because the agenda usually revolves around taking care of the city and the providing services and so forth. And of course, the board members we can add something to the agenda. We can ask him to make changes. I mean, we're the ultimate decision makers, but he has a big job with the help of his staff of developing this agenda. But I chose, for the reasons I just elaborated on, where I chose to pull this item. But we'll bring it up again for a vote. We'll see how this works out with the school board elections. And but I think that when you have a council manager form of government, it's just sort of a natural fit to have nonpartisan elections. Now, you're never going to eliminate politics from government, but you can certainly tamp down some of the most distasteful aspects of politics. I'm surrounded by men and women here who just simply love Kingsport and trying to do the best job they can by their fellow citizens, and it doesn't matter if they had a D or an R or an independent or anything like that. And there's an old saying that there's no Republican or Democrat way to fix a pothole. So that's a little bit long-winded, but that's why I made the decision I made. Other than that, I'm going to move on to the next part of the agenda. The agenda that we've reached now, the part in the agenda is citizens may speak on issue-oriented items. When you come to the podium, please state your name and address and sign the register that is provided. You're encouraged to keep your comments non-personal in nature, and they should be limited to 5 minutes. Are there any citizens that wish to come before the board and speak on a matter of civic interest?
Mayor, I'd like to make one comment.
Yes, sir. Tommy, go ahead.
I'd like to make a comment that concerns the police department. You got to excuse me, I sound like I'm about to cry all the time, and that's part of the sickness that I've had. So I apologize for that, but this is concerning the police department. My car was stolen last week, and they found it in 24 hours. Of course, it was damaged quite a bit, and everything's going to work out now. But I like people to know that the police department hustles all the time, and they do a great job.
Thank you, Tommy.
And thank you.
We do appreciate our police and fire protection. Are there any citizens that wish to comment, or any board members? If not, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight for the Kingsport BMA meeting. This program has been a production of the City of Kingsport in cooperation with Milligan Productions, Milligan University, and Charter Communications. For more information, visit kingsporttn.gov.